You know, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, it seems like Games Workshop is pulling the same exact strategy that a lot of these streaming services are doing once they feel like they have somewhat of a monopoly or at least a control over their fan base. Because it looks like after the massive backlash that they got regarding the female custodies, now all of a sudden they're apparently raising their prices on the video game in certain different aspects. Now, this is absolutely insane. And when I mean video game, I mean tabletop game. I got to correct myself. But still, this is absolutely insane. And it goes to show the amount of tone deaf that's coming from Games Workshop right now.
You tricked me! Everybody hates me!
So we have an article here from Phantom Pulse with a headline that reads, after upsetting their fan base with female custodies, Games Workshop announces Warhammer 40k is increasing their prices. Now, I've been asking a lot of different Warhammer fans throughout the weeks, man, since this whole thing started, and it seems like most people are going to be continuing the hobby. That's just the general consensus that I can see from people talking about Warhammer, but a lot of them have been saying that they're going to be LOL 3D printing. You know what I mean? Like, instead of buying actual figures from Games Workshop, they're going to 3D print them. I don't know if there's any truth to that. Obviously, there are people out there that can, in fact, 3D print them. I'm sure that it's going to be a thing. But I got to tell you, this is a pretty massive slap in the face. I mean, first off, they gaslight Warhammer fans, and they tell them that there was always female custodians when that was obviously a lie, and their fan base called them out on it. But then all of a sudden, you want to raise prices to try to garner any kind of money and milk it after you know that there's going to be people leaving. That just seems crazy. So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Games Workshop has been on a downward spiral since the last month. The many longtime war gamers are outraged at their bungling of the Warhammer 40k lore, lying about it, and then blocking several players who criticize the company. Many players are threatening to boycott Warhammer, but now Games Workshop has made matters worse by announcing price increases in the midst of the controversy. This has to be tone deaf, man. There is no fucking way that you're announcing a price increase when you are in the middle of a PR disaster. And again, like I understand a lot of players are going to still be playing the game. I get that. I fully get that. But that doesn't mean they're not pissed off. It doesn't mean that you could probably sway them, one way or the other. They're probably on the precipice. You know what I mean? They're right there about to either just jump off the cliff and say, screw it, I don't want to play anymore, or they might go back down the cliff and keep playing. But you raising your prices is going to make them make a decision much quicker than they probably would have. It says there's already rumblings about the direction of Warhammer 40k ever since the 10th edition came out, revising the game and trying to change too much of what made the game great in the first place. A lot has been done to take gender out of the lore in many situations, including the Adeptus Custodes, which have always been male in the setting. This took place both in the codex and an online post, but once they received pushback, the official Warhammer account gaslit players, saying that they've always been that way. Now, we already know that drama, no need to rehash it. Obviously, it was stupid. Worse for the company is recent additions to the Black Library have been written by woke authors inserting identity politic agendas into their works, including the use of made-up pronouns and most famously adding the cultural commentator Sargon of Akkad into the game as a slaver character to make a political point and try to gotcha Carl Benjamin. Did they really do that? Did they really add Sargon of Akkad as a slaver? I mean, you gotta be unhinged, man. At this point, I do feel bad. I do feel bad for Warhammer fans. I don't know if most of them are woke or whatever the case may be, but you got to start feeling bad when this lore that has been around for fucking decades, that have been enjoyed by so many people, that has kept this game going, even though tabletop is considered a niche, it's kept this game going drastically, and now you've gotten to the point where it's been taken over by fucking activists, man. If you're writing lore books and the first thing that's coming out of your lore books is fucking pronouns and the fact that you made Sargon of Akkad into a slaver, bro, that's just so sad. After all the controversy, fans have been posting about how they would only be playing with old rule sets and would be 3D printing figures from the point forward. 3D printer go burr has been a common meme in comment section around Warhammer circles. Now, again, guys, I have seen people saying they're going to stick to the old rule sets. That's more than fine. They're allowed to do that. Obviously, you know, you could just play with whatever rule set you want. In terms of the 3D printer thing, again, I don't know if they're going to actually do that. I would imagine there is going to be some people doing that. I wonder if they can sell those figures. Obviously, I think that's probably illegal. I don't think they'll be able to do it, but I would imagine that there's going to be some Warhammer nerds out there that are going to 3D print an entire fucking army. I would almost guarantee that. But to the masses scale, that means like actually losing money for Warhammer. I don't know if that's the case, but they're doing what all these streaming services do, right? What happens when these streaming services lose subscribers, right? We saw it with Disney Plus, we saw it with Paramount. What happens when they lose subs? They raise the price, right? Look at what happened with Netflix. Netflix lost subs, they raised the price. Disney lost millions of subs, they raised the price. I think they raised it twice, like in the same year. Paramount Plus, same thing. Lose subs, raise price. Because what happens is that when they lose subs, they take the number of subs they lost and they do some math and they realize how much money they lost. So they know if they raise the price just a couple of bucks, right? $2, $3 here. When you have millions of subscribers, that's going to be an insane amount of money to boost your bottom line, which obviously your investors are going to be happy to see that. So they know what they're doing, and Games Workshop is no different. They're raising the price of their figures and whatnot to try to offset the amount of money they're going to lose from potential sales of people who are angry and are no longer playing the game in the, you know, right way or whatever the case may be. Now, Games Workshop has shown its tone deafness once again by posting an update to its page titled 2024 Pricing Increase. Now, look at what they said. I love the way they tried to justify raising the prices. They try to make it into a worldwide thing. And obviously, there are things in the world that are much more expensive than they were 3 years ago. We get that. It's because we have certain people in office that love to cause inflation. We understand that. But the fact that they try to guilt trip you in the beginning before telling you the price increase is even more hilarious. They said it's an unfortunate truth that the world keeps getting more expensive. Prices for food, materials, and transportation have been trending upward for a few years now, and Warhammer isn't immune to that trend. This means that from the 10th of June, we'll be increasing some prices in our Warhammer stores and on Warhammer.com. The price change for individual products will vary, but in most countries, the overall average change will be anywhere between 3 and 5%. As an example, what you can expect, a squad of Necron warriors goes up from $2 to $50 to $52. 30, you know, I don't know, quid, whatever, euro, I don't know what the fuck that is. Then it says the prices of our products aren't changing, such as paint pots and paint sets, White Dwarf and Black Library products, including digital publications. Now, digital publications is where they make the most money, right? Because there's really not that much overhead. They can charge whatever the fuck they want, and they don't have to worry about providing any sort of physical content for people to actually have in their hands. So they're going to try to advocate for digital stuff because that's where they're going to make their money. It says, we understand that no one likes a price rise and that we've done our best to keep the prices down. We're giving you a heads up now so that you have plenty of time to take advantage of current prices. Yeah, okay. Okay, sure. Gaslight Workshop is so unhinged they decide to raise the prices even more. Maybe they just want to squeeze the remaining whales before everything goes to hell. Not that I plan to buy from them anyway, but it's insane that they are so out of touch with reality. That's really what it is, man. I feel like they're trying to gain as much as they possibly can from the little bit of players they're going to have left, right? Who knows? It might be a little bit of players. It might be a lot of players. It really doesn't matter. They're trying to gain as much money as they possibly can from the amount of players that are going to be left over playing Warhammer. Whether it's a lot or whether it's a little, doesn't matter. They can just monetize them a little bit more aggressively and try to make up the money that they're going to lose from the obvious backlash that they just endured. So listen, it is what it is, right? What are you going to do at this point? You're either going to play the game or you're not going to play the game. And if you don't play the game, I would hope that you make your voice known so that maybe we could see some change in the future. But it looks like with Games Workshop, I don't really think that's going to happen. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.
No, little dude. Honest.
Hold on. I hate him.